Thursday. Very excited. Rico in the Caribbean green Q-zip. The newly engaged Kenny Cott and Randy Watson on the ones and twos. Sexual chocolate. And I don't say that lightly. He's wearing a sexual chocolate T-shirt.
I was wondering where that was going, but
Look
I
at
get
the
it.
shirt.
Yes.
Randy Watson.
That boy good.
That boy good.
Good and terrible.
Where did you get that shirt before we start the proceedings
It was a gift from someone.
It's
a gift.
fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually a running joke that me and Tim Jeske, who you hear a lot on the airways, me and him love this movie, so he bought this for me.
If you don't love Coming to America, you're a communist.
Okay.
It's a wonderful film. You don't like it?
Oh no. I people get that. Apparently, you're not making a statement like my shirt was yesterday.
Okay, first of all, we're not going there. There was confusion about your shirt. I was like, is that Nick Wright? And you're like, actually, it's Captain Zoods.
It's like it's General Zod.
Whatever.
It's like, is that Colin Kaepernick saying Neil? General Zod.
Evan was, I thought it was Nick Wright. And I'm like, what?
Kenny, of all people, got it. And I'm like, okay, Kenny's like, oh, good General Zod. I'm like, thank you.
But that was at the end of the day. He finally said that.
Evan was like, yeah, I'm not really into Star Wars.
One problem, it's Superman. All right. We've got a lot to talk about. And look, I know it's early, but it's part of the discourse. There are some trade pieces being written. And obviously the day after Jackson Jobe blows out, people are talking. And let me say this. Look, don't take this out of context, which means you absolutely will. It's actually good that this happened now versus Jobe in the middle of his peak. That you get it out of the way now. It's never good that it happens. No one's rooting for that. You'd love to have a 12-year MLB career, making 7 all-star teams, and never have it happen. The problem is this is basically like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's almost like they stamp your ticket, or in Monopoly, you pass go and you get $200. Mm-hmm. If you're a young superstar pitcher, you pass go and you get Tommy John. Mm-hmm. So, look, I just better now look, imagine if Jobe is real and it's 3 years from now and he's on the cusp of being a Cy Young guy and then gone.
Bruh, there are high schoolers who get this electively done.
Which is wild.
To get it out the way.
But I told you today the flexor strain. I was like, this is what it leads to. I'm just scared. Know what,
Mike, in the terms of baseball, let's just say this.
Yes.
You went 2 for 2.
Thank you.
You went 2 for 2. Because you said, I got a feeling it's going to be Tommy John surgery because you're a hater.
But I'm just negative.
But then you called also the next thing that we're going to talk about.
Well, so look.
You went 2 for 2.
This is fun, though.
A little better than Javi right now.
Okay. He'll turn it right around. I want to ask a question. And the Jobe injury is the backdrop because these are pitchers. They're all one pitch from disaster. Well, Tarik Skubal, you heard Cookies ask Scott Harris the question in their interview. Thought it was a fair question. I thought Scott Harris gave a fair answer. No issue. Every time he pitches, fans immediately run out and are like, sign this man, pay this man. It's the little gif of Lil Wayne sprinkling money in the air. And it doesn't happen. And whether it was Scott Harris a while back saying it takes 2 to tango, or yesterday just saying, hey, look, I'm not going to discuss negotiations. It doesn't help Tarik. It doesn't help us. Fair. But here's what I wanted to do. Tarik Skubal was on one of the, if not the most popular sports podcast in the land, and pardon my take, my buddy Big Cat. And they threw something out there that I threw out last year, basically saying, look, this is probably what it'll take. This is a Scott Boras client. They threw out 10 at 425. And Skubal responded pretty quickly. Now, it's only, 7 seconds of audio? Okay, let's just play this. And we're going to try to, have some olive branches to this. Okay. Here's Tarik Skubal on Pardon My Take. So there you go. But here's the deal. I want to know right now if Tarik Skubal and Boras called you. And we'll just flatten the numbers. 10 at 400. Yes or no? Are you signing him? Because if your answer is no, and again, you guys do whatever you want to do. If your answer's no, here's what I'm dropping at Rico's doorstep, like the stork.
I was about to say like the brisket.
I could do that for you if you like. The point is, if it's no, then it means your window is now. Because there's a very real chance he wouldn't be with you next year. That he's going to be on an expiring deal. You want to recoup something, and the comp pick really isn't it. So would your discussion of a Skubal contract impact what you want to do at the deadline? And look, I want the guy here. I think anybody with a brain does. But if that was what they wanted, which we don't have any evidence of, but for fun, sports are supposed to be fun. If I said Rico Beard, David Hall, Kenny Cott, or you, the listener, right now, Scott Boras calls up and says, here's the deal, 10 at 400. I'm not going to get in the weeds about opt-outs and club options and different, just leave it out, 10 at 400. Yes or no to signing Skubal? And does your answer to that question impact your view of the deadline and what the Tigers World Series window is?
Mm-hmm.
So Rico, Stork has left.
No, I would not sign him at 10 to 400. And it would be, it would tell me that we have a 2-year window to get as much done, especially this year, because you're already like around 20 games over 500 or so. This is our year. We have to prepare because he may walk next year. We may have to do something to make a trade. So absolutely, let's go all in this year, and we're going to ride Skubal till the wheels come off. Because a 10-year deal, I think it's going to sound great for the first couple of years, but by those final years, you're stuck with him and you got to pay him. No.
You know the interesting note? He's already had Tommy John, and he's already had flexor tendon surgery. So, again, if you don't want to sign him, you can make a case. If you do, what you're getting right now in Tarik Skubal, currently from last year and this year, is the best years of Clayton Kershaw. The numbers really do line up. Yes, they're both left-handed. Randy Watson.
And real quick, but I told David, I don't know if this is an option, but if he right now, if Boras would agree to, I'll give you, it's not the money, it's the term, it's the years.
I understand that.
I would even go 5-year 200. Let's do it right now because I need you in your prime. I don't need you dragging this thing out for 2 years and then you sign this deal at 31, meaning you're 41, the final year of the deal. Don't need that.
David, 10 at 400. Is that, if he would take it right now and it would end this saga, would you offer it? Yes or no?
If he took it right now, which means he's 29, you're 39 at the end of that, yes. But if I'm waiting he wants,
it's today.
Then I would say yes.
You would say yes.
I would say yes today.
Rico says no. Kenny Cott, newly engaged.
Yeah, I would say yes right now.
You would say yes.
Right here, right now, I would say yes. But if you say no, recognize you're exactly right. Your window is right now.
Yeah.
You have to have urgency at this deadline.
There might be recency bias for me based on the Job news, based on what I know about pitching. I love Skubal, but it was part of the reason I wanted to get this thing done last year. And if you don't get it done, then, well, we know the other option. We're not going there. You're in a World Series window right now. I think I've kind of arrived at pitch him until the wheels fall off and say goodbye. I'm not going to sign him to a 10-year deal. I'm just not doing it. Like, I don't care if it's Garrett Crochet. I don't care if it's Paul Skeens. I mean, I can't sign a pitcher to a 10-year ironclad, no outs deal. But here's my one point. I said last year, because of what Garrett Cole signed for. By the way, Garrett Cole blew out, dead. If I repped Skubal, I want 40 a year. Well, that's what this is. I'm not mad at anyone who says, pay him his money. It's not my money. I don't care. I love him. No problem. I'm not mad at you in the least. But I don't think you have a right to be mad at me for saying I'm not doing that. And also, I would have done it a year prior, signing it at 28, not 29 or 30. I think right now I've arrived at a point. I'm going to enjoy every time he pitches. I'm going to pitch him until the wheels fall off. I've got this year and I've got next year. And maybe I would let him walk away for nothing. And look, do I think it will end up a mistake if that happens? Probably. But if I win the World Series, I will more than live with it. Mm-hmm. People, what do you say to it? He was on, pardon my take. They floated a fun number, 10 at 425. And Skubal seemed more than happy to say, oh, yeah. Well, what about you? What if Skubal and Boris called today? What do you do? And if you say no to it, does that impact how you feel? Because, again, guys, let's zoom out for a minute, Rico, and I'll be quick. You have Skubal now and next year. Is there a future for Flaherty? Don't know. Do we know Casey Mize is a part of the future? Now, he was much better pre-injury than not. Last night, better. But, okay, Mize is a question. There's no future for Cobb. There's not a lot there. Job is not going to be seen in a meaningful manner until 2027 now. Uh-huh. And I don't want to be rude. You're probably not going to get him at 150 innings until 2028.
Yep.
So you got about a 2-year window. That's why I want to be aggressive at the deadline. 19 games over 500 is unbelievable. It's fabulous. But I'm with Rico in this. I think the window's now. And yes, I mean, bringing up, all jokes aside, but when you bring up Clark or McGonigal or Briseno or some of these other dudes, hey, they might be awesome. They might be the next Jordan Walker and be terrible. The point is, the pitching, your window's now.
Right.
So I'd love to talk to the people about it. But he perked up when they went 10 at 425, and he goes, that would be nice.
Which tells me probably those are numbers that he's been listening to for a while, whether it's his agent, but yeah, he's like, yeah, if they came with that number, be a done deal.
Yep. 248-539-9797. I'm putting you in control of the Tigers.